You have to take a sip.
Yeah. Greetings, everyone. Oh, sorry. Yeah, in words of Michael Scott from The Office, I'm drinking out of my Luke Perry coffee cup. Luke Perry was in 90210. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Thank you guys so much for joining this live stream. I haven't done a stream like this in a while, and I'm joined here by my buddy Luke. Hello, Luke. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, this is a point where Luke has a Patreon. If everybody wants to go over and donate to his Patreon so we get a real mic, that would be awesome. Just go straight over there because we could get him oh, that was
I had no idea where you were going with that, but
yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyways, welcome, Luke.
Yes, hello. Yes, it's great to be back on. I haven't done one of these in a very long time, and it's always fun to catch up in a more direct way.
Yes, and it's funny because I think every time we've done a live stream, the backgrounds in our videos are usually different. Like, that's how long goes in between our live streams. Like, you'll be either in, I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I know my background has changed pretty much every single time we do a live stream. That's how much room is in between. I haven't really talked to anybody today, so my jokes are really I've been a shut-in all day today, so.
Well, that's strange because your jokes are really they're usually so on point.
This is how it's been even like on SNI too, like just I guess let me look over, and I guess when we do this live stream, is there like a part over on YouTube that people like comment on, or do they always just comment on the actual?
I have no idea. I haven't done one of these myself in such a long time, so.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to. Sorry, guys, I don't know how to do. Wait, the Q&A box. I'm going to open up the Q&A box if you guys want to ask any questions, but I don't know how it's going to work or if you'll be allowed to. I know they recently changed the Hangout. I was talking with some friends last night, and they were saying that they changed some things with Hangout, so I don't know what's going on. But anyways, and if you can't find a place to type your questions, just send us both an electronic mail, an email, and we'll answer it right away. I'm just joking. We won't be able to get to it right away. But anyways, yeah, so we just wanted to kind of get together and talk about, we do this, I thought we did it like every year, but I guess we've only done it like one other time, and that was just get together in like a live stream and talk about our 24-hour movie marathons that we have done. And yeah, and really just talk about this year's, because this year's too is like, I think we've made it a thing to where we try to go bigger every year, like go big or go home. And like this year, I know in terms of my video and of course of your video, like we went all out. Like, I was already gonna try to go epic with mine. I was gonna I'm gonna finally get it over an hour long. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do a 5-hour video and then it turns out to be only 35 minutes plus 20 minutes of filler skits of me being abducted by Blu-rays. But I was like, I'm going to go epic this year. I know you had probably originally said you were going to try to go a little bit smaller, but actually that small seed exploded into a Jack and the Beanstalk like epic. So I guess that's where we could.
I'm just gonna let you keep going. Just see where you go with it.
Yeah, I don't. It could get really questionable really quick.
Yeah, I should have just jumped in and saved you on that one. But no, yeah, I went massive with this year's video, and I definitely, as you said, was saying to myself and to you, and in the beginning of the video itself, okay, I'm going to cut it down this year. 4.5 hours long last year was too long, so this year I'm aiming for like 3 hours, and it ended up being over double that. I don't know how it happened, but it did. So.
It turned into like a mini series, which was actually not really a mini. It was actually like an epic movie. The way you had the skits and everything laid out this year was like literally it was fun to watch like in one sitting. I didn't watch it in one sitting, but there's people like Ian. If you're watching, we know you sat and watched it in one sitting because you're usually the first one to comment on our videos about that.
I question the legitimacy of people who do say that they've watched my one in its entirety in one sitting, because I just can't fathom a world where that's possible. But you know, I think I can't remember when I released it this year, but I remember last year I released it on a Saturday, I think, and so most people watched it on the Sunday, and they kind of just, like someone said, that they had it on in the background all day while they were cleaning and stuff. So I can understand that, you know. And a Sunday seems like a good day to kind of just relax and watch something like that. But yeah.
Can you imagine just watching or having your video on in the background and you're cleaning, and like you're like in the corner cleaning something somewhere, and all of a sudden you just hear, "That's my dog! That's my dog!" And like you're like, "What the heck is on the dang? What is on the TV? Oh, Chill Pilgrim. Oh, you got lost again."
That's an interesting. Let's just get into that. I mean, Chill Pilgrim, he's not really a regular YouTuber anymore, but definitely was back, you know, when we started becoming friends. And for the past 3 years, I think he's had a cameo in my marathon. And this year, I sent him a few ideas if he could take part, and he just over-delivered. Like, the stuff that he sent me, like, again, that bit at the end with the dog where he's like, "That's my dog," and he's just like somewhere like outside a building on his knees, just like, "Damn you, Luke!" And like, yeah. I didn't ask for that. He just sent me it. And so I love it when I ask someone to do something for my marathon and they over-deliver. Sometimes it works in a wrong way, but sometimes it works in a really good way. And with him, it just cracked me up. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I mean, you did your best to try to like keep that secret from me, but I know like I was like imagining like because you were like, "Man, what he sent me this year is amazing." And I was like, "Man, I can't even fathom what it is." I mean, last year he took his shirt off, and I was like, "I can't even fathom like what this year's video is. You know, what this year's video is going to be." I mean, and
like a psycho skit with Chill Pilgrim in the shower or something.
Yeah, I feel like one day we're going to ask him to do a skit, and then we're going to get the footage back and be like, I think what he did. I heard that there's a missing person, literally where he's at. And we might have to destroy this footage. I don't know, but it's fun though. He like gets all into it, and it makes for very entertaining.
Yeah, I loved how with my marathon this year, and probably every time he's been in it, really probably the only person who really enjoys or gets the Chill Pilgrim cameos is you. Like, I can't think. Maybe Robbie probably gets a kick out of it as well, but you know, it's not really. It's a very small audience, people who actually understand and get those random Chill Pilgrim bits. So when I got the footage this year, I was very much teasing you with it and saying, "Oh, you got to wait until you see this," because I knew you were gonna. I mean, people might find it funny, but you'd find that extra layer of hilarity in that.
And I made sure I recorded my laughter this year, like when I my first first time seeing it, just because it was glorious. Well, really, like the entire you know, your entire marathon this year was just awesome. I mean, just the fact, I mean, through connections and you just I mean, it was literally a shock that you actually had Mick Foley in the video. I mean, and just the connection that you made through that, like, you know, watching and following his son and stuff like that, and how that just all fell into place and worked out. And I was like, wait, what? Because you told me he was in it, and I was like, okay, he's probably going to do some, like, I thought you were going to do a Jean-Claude Van Damme kind of thing, like
exactly.
green screen.
Yeah.
And then
that was
I saw it, and I was like, what? Oh my God! He's like, what's razor wire reviews? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable moment when that footage rolled in on the old email, because I'd sent his son. I said, you know, because his son said to me, "I'd love to do a collaboration with you." And I was like, "Well, I'm doing this marathon. Do you want to get involved?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, definitely." So I sent him a little script to do, really simple, you know, and then I thought, well, hang on a minute, shall I be a bit cheeky here? So I said, if you want to like make it a bit more fun and do something with your dad as well. I sent him an alternate version, but I said, don't worry if you can't, you know, I want you in the video more than anything. And he said, yeah, my dad's not gonna be able to do it. And I was like, totally fine. A few weeks pass, he sends me the thing, doesn't even tell me, and I'm watching it, and suddenly Mick Foley turns up. And so I kind of had the same reaction as probably a lot of other people, because I was as shocked to see him in it. And but yeah, it was very cool.
And just the whole like idea of your video this year, just I don't know, just like the whole. Obviously, if anybody's watching this, they've actually probably seen the video by now, and how you play this whole ending of last year's video, and then it's like you disappeared for some years, and all the little cameos that come into place there. I mean,
yeah.
And of course, Robbie with his Michael Bay thing joke. That was that him or was that you? Was that scripted?
It was him. I didn't script that, man. And that's another thing I love about getting all the people involved is that I'll send them stuff, and there'll be some people like say CP, who I knew was kind of good at. He's good at kind of coming up with funny gags and things, and so I kind of just gave him an idea of what to say, and he kind of made that up. There's other people who I'll send a script, and I always say, feel free to adjust it, to what feels more natural to you, or add in jokes, whatever you want. And so it's great when people just surprise me with the things that they say. And that one with Robbie was one he threw in the little Michael Bay rip.
He's like, yeah, I mean, Ryan, because it was talking about the Bluey brothers, and he was just like, yeah, Ryan, I heard he's like he's a really big Michael Bay fan now. It's like, what? Like it came out of it was pretty amazing. I think CP left a comment on the actual video on the stream on YouTube asking no live questions or whatever. And so CP, if you're watching this right now, I just can't get it figured out. I don't know how to get all the questions and stuff figured out yet. So maybe one day I will be able to do a stream. Actually, no, I just clicked on the live chat thing. No, that is not. Yeah, it'll happen one day. It will happen one day, CP. So I really apologize for all the inconvenience. Please don't make a video about me roasting me, please, about this. Actually, where's my roast? Where's my roast?
Your roast would just be a supercut of you just drinking water.
Yeah. Like, this guy just has an obsession with water. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just clips of me going, I love my water. But anyways, yeah, your marathon this year was pretty epic, and obviously we can't not talk about the Blade Runner stuff in it. I mean, it's just, I completely forgot, like, where did that idea come from?
Well, I was kind of angling to do some kind of Blade Runner theme that year. I wanted to watch the film again, which kind of came back to bite me on the arse in the actual marathon itself, where, I'd put too many films in, and by the end of it, Connie was falling asleep, and it ruined the whole thing. But nevertheless, I wanted to do a Blade Runner theme, use the little unicorn thing and stuff like that. And I was thinking of a way to get you involved in the video in a bigger way than before. Again, trying to go bigger and better, things like that. And so I thought, why don't we try and do some kind of scene together? Not like, hey, more like an actual occupying the same space somehow. And so I thought, can we do some kind of Blade Runner riff? And then I guess it just fell into my head that, we could just film ourselves in a dark room with a light and kind of try and make it match. And I think did a pretty good job of doing that. I think it works. And I kind of had to put a lot of stuff over it, play with the lighting in Vegas, and put some grain over it to try and make it all match and stuff. And the audio was really hard to get right, but I'm happy with how it turned out. Yeah, and also just to cut in there, to thank you for putting that much effort in, because you definitely went above and beyond in terms of your involvement in that, and I think it showed. I think.
Well, you're very welcome, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. But I kind of went crazy for a little while, because I was literally, after doing the marathon, I was really living two lives. It was me, and then living the life of Harry Kane, who is the kind of inside joke name of the character that I played in it. That really just all started because we were talking about it, and I had the script, and I was like reading it, and I was like thinking, because sometimes I'll like text Luke, and I'll just say, try to say something completely stupid and off the wall, and I was like, Hurricane. That's they used to call me the Hurricane. And I was like, okay, well, why did they call him the Hurricane? Maybe because his name is Harry Kane. And
it's so stupid.
Yeah, it was so stupid, but it like stuck. And so like it became, I would like text him and be like, hey man, Harry Kane is just he's a dirty bastard. He is just, he is a bastard. And then It just, and then you ended up putting it in the video where it said like Harry Kane dead or found dead.
Detective Harry Kane. Yeah, I had to throw that in there. It's the stupidest thing, but it just made me chuckle, and you know, it was one of those lines I just wrote in the script. They used to call me the Hurricane. Just popped into my head, and then there we go.
But it is cool how that whole thing turned out. Because
yeah, definitely.
I mean, because I do know we were thinking, how the heck can we make it to where we're like literally in? It looks like we're in the same room. I mean, the only way to do that is just making everything black. So
yeah, it was pretty good. I was really happy with how it turned out and stuff, and it's probably the best little scene in it, I think.
Well, I actually showed somebody that I worked with one time, like the marathon video, and he was actually shocked when I told him that you lived in Norway. I was like, yeah. And he was like, wait, did he come here and y'all film it? And I was like, no, we did it. He did it in Norway. I did my part here. I was like, yeah, we weren't in the same room. We just recorded our sides and he edited it together. And it's like, oh. So, I mean, I think it worked for the casual viewer anyways.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, overall, your video was epic this year. And I am definitely looking forward to if it happens next year. Quote, I forgot, did you officially announce if you're doing it next year or not?
Yeah, well, I put that teaser up a couple of weeks ago just as a kind of borderline confirmation. I mean, it's silly. I mean, the only reason that there was this whole, thing that I created where the final marathon, it was just for a storyline for the video. I wanted to give it some more stakes, like with the last year. I'm selling my Blu-ray collection. Obviously, that wasn't the case. And so I figured most people would probably get that it wasn't. And there's a couple of clues in the video. Like there's literally a clue you can decipher that tells you there's going to be a marathon in 2017. If you have the time to find it, it's in the video. And but
some people legitimately thought that you weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
I got messages from people saying, "Hey, so Luke's not going to do any more marathons."
And it goes into that kind of territory of maybe it feels a bit like egotistical, like, oh, I'm trying to get people to say, please come back. But it wasn't that. It was just to make it a bit more fun and dramatic because that's, it's all a laugh at the end of the day. But yeah, definitely we'll be continuing this, the marathons. And, I was happy with how the whole intro turned out this year because it was really built on everyone else's participation because it opens with that scene with me and you. And then I think there's about 15, 20 minutes where I'm not in the video. Maybe it's 15 minutes. It's not quite as long as 20, but it was literally carried by everyone else who agreed to take part, and I'll be forever in debt for them for that because I think it made it work when the reveal of me with my short hair. For those of you who don't know, I cut my hair short. Anyway, so that was a cool part to throw in there as well.
And Connie stepped it up too with the cameo this year too. I mean, she literally went on an adventure to find you. Which was awesome.
And she hated it. She hates it when she has to come out with me and film these things. Like, oh god, oh, it's my day off. Like, oh, so many other things I wish I could be doing, but she's a good sport and she plays along with it. And so, actually,
well, I do have to say that footage with her did you use your regular camera for that, or did you use the DSLR?
We use
all that footage.
We used the mix. We used the DSLR, a couple of different lenses, but it depended what I needed. There's a zooming shot which I had to do with my normal camera, and then just the close-ups. I wanted that kind of filmic look with the the out of focus background kind of thing. So we took both cameras up, and actually we tried to film that, and you'll see this in this video coming up where I'll be doing a making of special. The first time we tried to film that thing up on the hill, it was raining, it was windy, it was horrible, and it was just the worst day ever, and we just canceled the filming, and I was just so pissed off. So the fact that we even got that was great because it was, the snow was still there, the weather wasn't great, it started to rain during that scene as well. So I'm glad that we got it in the can, so to speak.
Oh, so it did look like it was overcast, it was literally about to pour.
Yeah, it rained a little bit. We had the umbrella up there to protect the cameras and stuff, but yeah, so if you look at the close-up of my face at one point, the sun breaks through a little bit. So there's a bit of inconsistency with the lighting. But
you said the sun oh, okay. I never you guys did such a good job, I didn't really even notice it. I don't really notice stuff like that anyways.
Well, when you're editing it yourself, you notice, obviously.
Yeah. the trolls notice that kind of stuff. Just for saying the word trolls, I'll probably get a thumbs down on this video. Yeah, but so I guess for everybody who has recently just started watching me and Luke, or I know since that marathon, we probably have some new viewers. I guess I'll go first, and then you can go about talking about kind of like your history with the marathon, just to kind of give people like, wait, what is this thing you guys been doing for 5 years? Like, has it been the same every time, or so on and so whatever?
Yeah, sure.
I want to just kind of go over that. Well, basically, it started with me. It all started with me. The grand idea was from me. I want all the credit. No, I'm just joking. As I said many times in like different videos, and I was in a stream with CP on his channel recently, and he was talking to me about it. And I had mentioned that I was driving in the car with my wife, and she had mentioned something about something she read in a blog about a 24-hour book, like reading marathon, where people would get together in coffee shops and they would literally read books for like 24 hours, and they would actually do, I think that's how it went. And then they would like talk, and I don't know, it's just all about building a community of book lovers, like a book club kind of thing. And I was like, that'd be cool to do something like that on YouTube. That didn't really necessarily mean us all in one hangout or in the same video, but just in general do a marathon video and upload it, what you're eating, what you're drinking. I mean, it's some people, what kind of toilet paper you use. I mean, it literally, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but the goal was to kind of not only show what you're watching a movie, but you're actually doing stuff that, your everyday life. And Zarin Isaac turned it into like a day in the life of Zarin Isaac video. That was awesome. But so I decided to, do that, get some guidelines together, and I announced it. And the original like thing was just, literally just the vlogging. Just the vlogging. There was not going to be anything special. In fact, it literally opened, that first marathon opens up with me looking at the camera, talking about how my wife made brownies and I was making some coffee. And I started out with Titanic and all these epic movies throughout the night. Yep. And really, it was the next year that we really started, I had wanted somebody to like, I had wanted you to like participate in some way, just, just for the heck of it. And I know, I don't remember what came first. I don't know. I know you asked me to be in yours, and I think I got the idea from you. It's like, okay, well, you could be in mine. I forgot like where exactly that came into play, but I do know we ended up cameoing in each other's videos just by, the regular YouTube phone call sequences where, YouTubers get together in their videos by having each other on phone calls. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have Luke introduce my video. It'll be funny just because that's how big my ego is, just to have somebody other than me introduce my video. But it ended up being really funny because you went with it and did the Twilight thing about they're the greatest movies of all time. And from that was the video, I think that like it kind of blew up even more because of just it was the second year, because a lot of people do videos and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do it every year, but then it doesn't end up coming. But randomly, me and you had videos up the second year, and they're like, okay, so this is really an annual thing. And it just kind of grew from there. And yeah, so I mean, that's kind of where it all started. So I guess, Luke, what was your, and I mean, obviously I know, but you can tell the viewers like what introduced you to the marathon, and what's some of your history with the marathon.
Well, I saw that you'd done the video, and I thought, that's pretty cool. I think I'll do my own. And then that was it, really. Well,
awesome.
Right, okay, so yeah, I'd seen that you'd done it, and I guess you had released your video before I did mine, but I'd done the timeline with the first one, but I took part, thought it was a great idea. I didn't quite do the full 24 hours and kind of slept for about 6 hours. Which would slowly dictate how the rest of my marathons would go. just more and more not doing it in 24 hours and just spreading it over like 4 days, 3 days. But yeah, I mean, if you look at those first videos, I mean, yours is like what, 15 minutes long, not even that. Mine was in 2 parts and it was 20 minutes long total. Like I thought it was so long it had to be in 2 parts. And so they're very, I almost feel like that's what the marathon should be. Just, I watched this, it was good, that's cool. And then for some reason, the next year, it just came out of me. I didn't plan it. I'm going to do the marathon again, looking forward to it. I just started filming and filming and filming, and I realized I haven't even filmed me watching films yet. And then just ideas started coming. And then I think I saw a video with Aficionados Chris. He done one with...
guilty pleasure.
He likes to impersonate walking. So a great guy. Never watch him. Anyway, he made this video, and I think it was his video or Zaran Izarak's video, either way, and they did this little scene where he called Zaran Izarak. And I thought, that's pretty cool. And then I thought I could get you to do that in my marathon video. And so we did that very short little skit, cameo, and that was it. And then I did my marathon and did a few little skits, but nothing to the extent that it would later go on to be. And the video turned out to be nearly 2 hours long. And I thought, no one's going to watch this. What have I done? What have I created? And people enjoyed it. And it just very much snowballed heavily from there, to be honest. So I almost feel guilty for creating this kind of hybrid. You have this like 3 hour long video with all these things, but it's fun and I love it. So, I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, I remember that second video. I remember just being completely entertained by it, like from beginning to end, because it was more, since it was longer, it was more of like you in the moment, like off the cuff. And so yeah. I always think of that, like that if you guys see a hick around here anywhere, just I'm looking for fast 80 and like like all those comments and stuff like that. I was like, okay, now this is like real. This is real vlogging right here. It's like off the cuff thing. And then randomly seeing that, what's it called, the piece of ice that literally could have killed you.
Yeah, it was a little adventure that took place within a 20-minute radius of my place and all these movies that I watched. So yeah, and also the second year I had my fiance join me for some of the films, and that's kind of grown as well, where to now she watches every film with me. So that's cool, and that's something that also makes it special for me. And I like how the videos are different. I like how people do it their own way. And I like it when people do different things. You have someone like James, DVD collector, this year. His video was nothing special about it. There was nothing fancy, nothing flashy. It was just him talking about the movies that he watched. And that's fine. That's a way of doing it. That's a way of documenting the experience. And you don't need to do all the stupid stuff that I do and things like that, and you do. But even though me and you do the skits and the cameos, my video is very different from your video. It's always a different experience, and that's something I really, really like. CP's video, completely different to anyone else's. It was very, it's skit heavy, and I love that. And it was interesting how people have their own take on it, and that's what I love about the marathon.
Yeah, because that was the one thing about CP's video. I was like, man, this is straight up hilarious. Like he did a really, especially everything like involving like skin slip, like basically he just made basically tongue in cheek, like saying he's like the king of shitty movies. It's just like
it was, sitting on his toilet like, yeah. Wait, I was just thinking about you.
Yeah, I mean it was brilliant. So CP, if you're watching, you did a great job this year. I tried forever to work out the time. I kept procrastinating getting him some footage. I was originally going to be in the video. It didn't end up working out because I just never got the footage done. He didn't ask me to do all that much, but procrastinating Ryan didn't get it to him in time. But it's all good. It was a lot of fun. But I mean, there's other people that have done it, completely different. I mean, I know there's still a big one that we're gonna eventually see this year, and that's Skin Slip. Whenever he uploads his, I was asking him. I was like, when's your video? And I know he's still editing it. Like he does so many videos that it's taken him a while to edit. And he was like, well, I think it may be done by Christmas. Like it may be. And I was like, okay, this is just going to be, because I know what I filmed for his, and I'm looking forward to it because I think it's just going to be hilarious. And I know he waited until like literally the entire house was to himself to like do the video. So I know it'll be awesome whenever we get that. But
and there's been other people who've done good ones, like Quack did one. I watched his. I really enjoyed his. Very low key, but just really enjoyable. You know, just hearing what he thought about the films that he picked, and that's what it's the base of it is just, you know, watching all these films and talking about them. It's basically what we do on a regular basis, but it's in this big, it's almost like a compilation video almost. But you get the experience of the thing, and yeah. So that's what that's. Oh, no, there was another one. Stoudman. His was good, you know,
because he's done them since the beginning. In fact, before I even, because I connected with them, that crew, through Raz. That's how I connected, and Raz has done them too. I connected with that group through Raz, but I always knew of Justin just because of him doing the marathon videos.
Yeah.
So like, it's just funny how all that worked out, and I know there's a ton of other people that have done them. And I have, if you guys go on my channel, there's a playlist I have that's public where I tried my best to put every 24-hour movie marathon I could possibly imagine that people did. I like literally just looked up the tag 24-hour movie marathon and checked and see if they were referencing me or even like the guidelines in it, or I could tell if they're doing the one that because I know some people have done the marathons based on other videos they've seen. They don't really necessarily connect it back to me, which I'm fine with. But I wanted to see if their guidelines were the same, because I would like lump them into a playlist so you guys could see there's a whole bunch of people that have done it. I know he's done a bunch of videos like it, but hasn't Ian almost, or Forkerball, been doing it every year, but he like keeps saying that he just fell asleep or whatever?
I don't know. He did some kind of super marathon video recently where he kind of watched videos over a week or something like that. But it'd be cool to see him do one. I think that'd be very interesting. Did you see the guy who did who live streamed his whole marathon? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I forgot. I think I think I know his handle off of the geeky.com chat. What isn't his name, like Thrash Fingers or something like that?
Yeah,
and he literally
that rings a bell.
he live streamed his entire marathon.
I mean it's a way to do it. I don't know how watchable it is because I'm just sitting there watching the films, but like, you know, it's interesting to see people have their own thing on it, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that, you know, it's actually turned into something that we could look forward to every year. Like now, I feel like it's one of those things where if I didn't do it, it would still just continue anyways, just because so many people are involved with it now, and which is awesome. Like I'm looking forward to next year's already, even though this year's with me. I mean, I haven't really talked about my video yet all that much, but this year's video with me, I really wanted to make a theme of people's like love of movies and have people talk about their love of movies. So I had people, instead of doing like the regular cameos that I've done, had people send in clips of them talking about why they love film or what film means to them. Some people did some tongue-in-cheek kind of, monologue about film. Others really got really personal with it, which was awesome. And I wanted to make it about love of film. And so I was like, you know what? It'd be so cool. And I just watched one of my favorite movies, Woody Allen's Manhattan. And I love the cinematography and I love the Gershwin soundtrack. And I was like, I really want to remake part of this movie in my marathon. So like I did this whole, everybody who's seen the video, I did made it look like my city was Manhattan, even though it wasn't. I just filmed parts of my city, made it black and white, and went from there. It didn't quite in some ways meet my expectation, but that's just, I'm always my own worst critic, and every year I'm like, oh man, I didn't quite do what I wanted to do. But basically it was about me trying to find a steelbook, a Taxi Driver steelbook, and it was like a romance between me and my love of the steelbook. And I mean, I literally go running to hunt for the steelbook because it got upset. Or no, that my original Taxi Driver DVD got upset because I got the steelbook and I wasn't paying attention to it. And it's kind of tongue-in-cheek weirdness, but it turned out, it was actually pretty funny. But so that was my theme this year. I wanted to do something different. Next year yet, usually I really probably won't know until the last minute, but this year was my first one that was over an hour long, which for me is huge.
Yeah, you always try and get it. You always try and go for that epic length, and it always seems to elude you somehow. So
yeah, and then of course at the end of my marathon this year, in the video, it's me going to see Back to the Future live with the score, and actually meeting Alan Silvestri, and like that was amazing in itself. So like this year, I loved it, but some of the skit stuff, of course, didn't live up to the quality that I had imagined in my brain. But that's just because of the fact in the middle of editing. For those of you who don't know or don't really remember me talking about it on social media or in videos, my computer was having a bad day. I had a bad time.
I had one bad day.
Yeah, basically, it just had one bad day, and like I was like Gordon, and like went and tried to he tried to make me go insane and everything. Basically, my computer was the Joker. I opened up my computer one day and it held a gun at me and shot me right in the back. Yeah, the Killing Joke. That joke wasn't even funny. Anyways,
well, I'm just gonna get Patrick Stewart on the line to stand in and do facepalm. Just
yes, and then why would you
Who's letting Ryan make jokes today?
Yeah. But darn, I can't remember. Oh yeah. So my computer, I upgraded to Windows 10, and because of the operating system that I downloaded with Windows 10, it screwed up my hard drive. It kept crashing. Everything kept crashing nonstop. So I bought 16 gigs of RAM for my computer, that the maximum for this, and it still wasn't working, and had to completely do an overhaul. And I think I tried to get my video out in July, or not July, it was June. No, March. But it didn't even come out until, I think, June. I can't remember. But there was a huge delay with it. And a lot of the reason why I wasn't really happy with some of the skit stuff is because I was editing it with all that crashing stuff going on. So it's kind of a rush job. In fact, there's a funny part in it for those of you who haven't watched it that you should see. I'm talking about a movie and I say, I'm going to show you a clip or a picture right here. And then it's just me going, okay, here is the clip.
Maybe
as you saw.
Maybe you'll edit it out.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a director's cut and I'll go back and but no, I really was happy with how it turned out because it was so different from every year I've done before.
Yeah.
I think a couple of the year before that I did like a Mad Max kind of thing and all this stuff, and it was cool, but a lot of those skits I was really just trying to get a runtime. I was really trying to get to an hour. So like the Blu-ray abduction skit, I was like, my motivation was like Francis Ford Coppola in The Godfather 3. He only made it for the money. He only made it for the money. I only made it for the runtime. And I mean, it's funny that part, the lizard thing and all those like special things, I did those for the heck of it, but the Blu-ray abduction Mad Max thing was made purely to get the runtime up, and and I look at it now and I'm like, man, it's funny and it works in the video, but what in the hell is this?
It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre.
And I had an event downtown that day, so like it was literally just me driving home from the event, going, what can I do? So like I dropped by that abandoned Kmart and filmed a little something, and I pulled into the Walmart like down the street and saw ducks, and I was like, where is he? And I literally just thought of it on the way home, and the only thing I actually planned was my phone call with you. That was the only part that was planned, but everything else was so rushed. I like wrote that, Ryan was never seen again. He was abducted by a Blu-ray that obviously. That was my shot at special effects, but it was funny and it worked, and I think finally there was two things: the runtime, and I was like trying to do like a Martin Scorsese and with The Departed, not have the title pop up until like halfway through the marathon. That'd be awesome. I did that the year before. This year I did it, and I think by the time the title even comes up, it's like 15 minutes. and then you get some more skits. And I don't even think the marathon actually started until like the 20-minute mark. Considering that my video is only like 45 minutes long, the 20-minute mark literally is. That just shows you how much filler I put into that.
Well, with my fourth marathon, I think the title comes at like 45 minutes or something. Like we have Robbie saying like, "Man, it's been 45 minutes and it still hasn't started." You know? Oh yeah. So that's a decision this year to cut out that. Well, not cut it out, because last year was a very special circumstance. There was an eclipse. It was the day before the marathon. It was very much a part of the experience for me. But I was like, right, let's not take too much time getting to the beginning of it, you know, because people did criticize it the year before. So I always like to take into consideration, you know, the criticisms people have, you know, if they're constructive, of course.
Yeah. I do remember I remember reading the comments thinking, oh, because I personally loved it. I was like, see, this is what the marathon's about to me, even though I was like, wait, this isn't the marathon, but this is what our videos are about, just like epic stuff like this. So I like loved it, and I saw some of the comments, and I was like, well, at least nobody's being really rude about it.
Yeah.
But
one thing I want to ask you about this year's marathon, with the whole opening you did with the Taxi Driver Blu-rays and stuff, within obviously the context of the video, would you say that your relationship with the Blu-ray was intimate?
I mean, I guess considering it's a disc and there's a hole in it, you could leave it up to interpretation. I was joking.
Oh god. Okay, yeah.
We're live, and we're back. That was the one thing I was thinking. I was like, yes, I want to remake Manhattan a little bit, but I need to make it towards where it's like, oh wait, he actually has a relationship with his Blu-ray.
I was not expecting you to go along with that. Oh.
Yeah.
Not to that point anyway. Okay, wow.
I guess it's not really a Ryan live stream unless I go over the top one time. And
yeah, definitely.
I figured, you know, I had so I mean, it's like, yeah, I need to shut up with that. But yeah, because I thought it would have been, my original plan was to have like the shot where I look at the disc and I'm like, you know, happy that I see the Taxi Driver Blu-ray again. My original thought was to have the Blu-ray out, but I was thinking, you know what, it's really gonna really makes me like really feel like I have a physical relationship with this Blu-ray. So I'm gonna keep it in the box, and I'm gonna show images of the movie to where it's like I'm loving the movie, not the object. But then,
of course, yeah, you don't want to put Blu-ray nudity in there. You know, you want to keep it respectful and tasteful. So I totally understand the decision to keep it, you know, closed.
But then it is creepy though, because I like go grab it, and then, you know, I go grab it, and then it just shows footage of me walking into the bushes with it. So I mean, it's kind of awkward.
All right, yeah.
But and then the marathon starts.
Why did I ask that question? What have I done? Right.
But anyways, yeah, that is where my video. I don't know what I'm going to do next year. I have this grand scheme in my head that I'm eventually going to do a marathon where I do something I'm not going to announce on here because it will require a lot of work. But I have some things in my head that I've always wanted to do, and I'm looking forward to the future with the marathons, of course. But I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to. There's a couple other things I wanted to bring up. Oh, did you want to talk about your did you want to say anything about, because you haven't really announced that you did that marathon series yet, so you haven't really announced that.
Huh?
Have you announced the making a marathon thing?
Yeah, I put a post up about it. It'll be like a 2.5 hour video. It goes through my making of this year's marathon, from my idea of the skits before any of the skits happened, to cutting my hair short, to going out and filming, outtakes of us filming, things like that. Talking about the editing process as I'm doing it, and then talking about the release of it and how it was received, things like that. just an idea I had. I thought would be quite cool to do, and just for the excuse of having a thumbnail for the video, which is the poster of Making a Murderer, but with me with short hair and long hair. So that just kind of born out of a stupid idea for a thumbnail. But yeah, that'll be coming at some point this year, hopefully, if I got the time to edit it, because I actually made some progress, but then I lost the whole project file. So I was just like, I'm done with that for a while because I was so annoyed. It just lost hours of work, but it'll be coming at some point.
Yeah, and how, I guess, guesstimate, and because we keep talking about video, is it going to be like a series, or is it going to be like one whole video?
It'll be one whole video, yeah. Like I said, like maybe 2.5 hours long, something like that. It'll be a long one, basically. It's because I filmed a lot of stuff, so I mean, I'll try and trim it down and make it watchable, but you know,
it's almost like this is, for those of you who don't follow Luke on social media, he has done like these. He has made covers for his marathons, for his, like, you know, he's one day planning on making basically Blu-rays of all his like main like no stairway productions, I guess you could say.
yeah.
And I guess this documentary, and he does them in the style of like a Criterion cover.
Yeah, it's total like just wish fulfillment wankery, but you know, it's fun to kind of imagine having my films on a shelf, and it's purely for posterity as well, because like if you put someone on a Blu-ray disc, it's very durable, it'll last a long time, and it's just fun. It's just fun. I mean, they're not real films, but
Yeah,
they're, you know, they're something I've created, and even if I'm not proud of them, it's fun to kind of make a cover and things like that. So yeah, I'm kind of
Blu-rays are durable. I do know that. But I mean, to me, there's no difference between doing that than, like, you know, back when we were kids and having like family videos like in boxes and stuff. And to me, like people like you and me that love film and love the Criterion Collection and love, the Masters of Cinema stuff, where we love good packaging. Why wouldn't we want our own things to be packaged if we have the means to? Like,
yeah, it's just a bit of fun, you know.
But what I was meant to say was, this marathon is like a Criterion kind of special feature for this marathon. Like, it's like a legit, like,
yeah,
a making of in 4 parts. Like, you know how Criterion have always does that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But
Well, I've done special features for the marathons. I've done like commentaries on the openings, and I've had like deleted moments and outtakes and stuff. So I have made little extra things for other marathons, and there's more for me to put together. There's just so much to go through, you know. But yeah.
So people are probably wondering, well, when is the next marathon going to be? Well, obviously, I'm pretty sure that usually I do like an announcement video in like at the end of February, early March. So that's how much longer everybody has to wait for that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, of course, I participate in Luke's silent movie marathon that he started. He started it on the Blu-ray Brothers channel that we had with Robbie Webster a few years back, and he's done it every year since. I started it last year. So this coming year, well, soon, in the coming months, will be my second time doing it. And that's basically something kind of like the 24-hour movie marathon, but it's kind of its own monster in itself. That
it's basically the redheaded stepchild of the 24-hour movie marathon. You know, not as many people are interested, but it's there.
I think people are probably going to be eventually going to be interested just as much as the 24-hour movie marathon. Because the thing is, I guess when you're talking about silent movies, not everybody is into silent movies. But considering, I mean, I think the feedback and the views, at least on those videos, are still relatively high for like a silent movie. Not everybody's into silent movies, and I don't expect people to watch a 2-hour video of me talking about silent movies, but the video itself, I know the video I did at least got a lot of views, and I was completely shocked by it because I didn't even think people were going to sit through me watching silent movies, unless it was just Ian watching it, 700 times.
Yeah.
But it's just that's one thing you guys have to look forward to. I mean, of course, we constantly put out content on our channels for the most part. Oh, yeah. I have my daily vlog channel. He puts up stuff all the time too, so you guys have stuff to watch. But in terms of the marathons, the the big ones are the silent one, and then of course the 24-hour movie marathon. And Luke started recently doing. He did a Paul Newman marathon recently, which was awesome.
Yeah, I like to do different ones. I've done a Japanathon. I did Japanese films. I did the Paul Newman one. I'm kind of hoping to do a Wes Anderson one at some point. And I'm actually planning on trying to watch all of his films in one sitting. So that'll be fun. But yeah, it's fun to do these side ones. And I remember when you first started the marathon, and after it had been a success, I think you said something like it'd be cool if we could do this like every 6 months or something like that. But I like that it's turned into this yearly thing. I think it's good to do that. I mean, we could easily make 2 marathons a year and not put as much effort into it, but to kind of just wait every year, it makes it more special every time it comes around. So I'm a big fan of the yearly format that we that we do it in.
I think I usually say it would be awesome to do it every 6 months before I actually sit down to do it, because then I sit down to do it and I'm like going through the editing process and like, did I really say I wanted to do this every 6 months? But this year is just mainly because of that, with all the issues that I had. I'm really hoping that this coming year I'm not going to have any issues with it. Obviously, anytime any big project happens, there's always going to be issues that pop up. But
yeah, always.
Yeah, like I thought it'd be cool. I think my silent movie marathon video this year is just going to be me watching silent movies for 3 hours, and 3 hour long video, and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to have the video completely silent, and everything I say is just going to be a subtitle. That'll get all the views.
You joke, but I toyed with trying to do something like that at one point, but then I realized how unbelievably impractical it would have been. But it actually entered my mind once. I was like, maybe I can do it silent, maybe I can make the video black and white. But yeah,
because your silent movie marathon was pretty epic this past year.
Oh yeah, that was different because I did it over like 2-3 weeks, and so when you film all that stuff and then you realize you've done 10 hours of video, it's kind of overwhelming. And the fact that people watch that was crazy. I mean, I tried to give you the option to watch it as a series, but those videos didn't get many views, but the big one did. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely like, that'll never happen again. That was just very much a screw it kind of thing. I'll just upload it, whatever, It was almost like out of the, can I even upload a 9-hour video? It was almost just like an experimental kind of thing. But
it would like take 2 weeks to process, like.
Yeah, it took ages. It was a very interesting one.
And it's just funny thinking that we used to think 15 minutes was like a long video.
Yeah. Next year, I'm going to do everything in my power to make it shorter, I think. Even down to reviewing the films. Like, we're going to have to cut down on that, I think. And, but it's always that thing where it's like, there's pressure now, Because when I did the second one, people loved it so much and, how can I top it? And then the third one was bigger and people were like, wow, you topped it. And then it's like, and I keep feeling the need to go bigger and better. And I don't think you can go much bigger than the one I did this year. So I think, people may be disappointed, but, I'm still going to be doing them every year.
It's funny. It doesn't matter how long you make the video. There'll always be that one comment by Forkaball that says, great video, just too short. Like, come on, Ian.
Yeah, I know.
Come on. Like, it was 9 hours. But
one thing I can tell you about my video next year is that it'll probably be kind of like the last of its era in a way. I probably will be another big video, but we'll be moving next year, and so there's gonna be a lot of changes and stuff. So the one after next year will probably be completely different. I mean, different location. It probably won't. I won't have the time to put all that stuff into it. So yeah, it's going to change and evolve as it goes on, and maybe in a few years it will be like a half-hour long video. That's all I got time for. But every year I plan to do it and take part, and even if YouTube goes under and it's just me and you doing it, it'll happen because it's fun.
Yeah, I'll set up whatever social media platform that's big at the time. That's I plan on at least doing 1,000 of these. My last one will be on my deathbed. Like, all right, guys, I'll see you next time. Oh wait, flatline. No, that's really dark, Ryan. Why did you say that?
These are the things you say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, just how they've evolved now, like with me, like, because I know for a fact that probably next year will probably be, I'll be living here as well, but I think probably the year after that we'll probably be living somewhere else. So like, obviously, change is always going to happen. It's just what we can do with what we have, and if you, it is going to be disappointing if you go shorter. No, I'm just joking. Because I know for a fact though, like obviously I would love like a 10-hour video from you every year, but I know for a fact that even if you did like a 90-minute video, that 90-minute video will still be just as epic as the 10-hour video, because of, just, it's like what we were talking about with James, like his videos, he doesn't have anybody like Cameo in them, but it's still fascinating to watch because it's somebody participating.
It's enjoyable in its own way. Like I said, everyone has a different way of doing it, and they're enjoyable in different ways. So, and one thing that I find really cool about it is that, in a few years' time, this place where I've spent so much of my life at this point, I won't be here anymore, and so I can look back on the marathons we did here and kind of, remember that part of my life. Now, obviously, I make videos all the time, but it's not quite as cool going, I'm going to remember that place we had and watch a Blu-ray update I did. It's not very interesting. Yeah. Look at a marathon that's fun and, is interactive with me and Connie. So I just like that kind of documenting aspect of it, I think.
Well, it's kind of like, I have so many videos, like in my first place, like after we got married and me and my wife got married and like we, moved into that apartment, like that the first year and a half of my channel is me in that apartment. Like, I never click on an update video if I want to like remember the times. I'll always click on the marathon video because it opens with me in the kitchen. I'm like, man, I had a lot of fun times in that kitchen. I cooked a lot of food in that kitchen. Like, these are the kind of videos I go, oh, that's a nice bathroom. I've taken a lot of in that bathroom, like, because I mean, update times, like you don't really see anything, but the vlogs, we're actually walking around with the stuff.
And you have your vlog channel as well. So I mean, you've got stuff done. And it's the same with vlogs, I guess. But just with the marathon, I can imagine it being a more fun video to watch and look back on, in years to come.
Yeah. And so if you guys are interested in doing the marathon, you guys could even do it now. If you're somebody who just found out about it, you could do it now. Just go, just search the 24-hour movie marathon on my channel, which I probably will end up putting a link to the playlist down below. And even if you don't want to use any of the guidelines, my voice is I'm starting to lose my voice. The guidelines are there, but you don't really have to use them. But just do it and film it and upload it. And if you don't upload it and you don't want to film it, I would love to hear what you did, even if it's just sending me an email, like just saying what you did or what you watched and all that kind of stuff. And just I'm always wanting to hear other people's experiences with it. Definitely. And I know of at least 3 or 4 people I can think of off the top of my head that do it, that I get messages from, and they talk to me while they do it and like what they've done that haven't done videos. So you guys could do that too. You don't just have to do on camera. We just already had YouTube channels and we're already used to being on camera. So we decided to, we decided to do that anyways. But yeah, I think, it's almost 2:00 p.m. where I'm at. So I wanted to kind of keep this at like an hour to where, people could, sit through this in one sitting if they want. But I think an hour is always a good, podcast live stream length, because like now I'm starting to lose my voice, and sometimes my jokes my jokes get darker. So,
well, we could sit here and stroke each other's egos all day long, but I think that you probably should, spend the rest of your day maybe stroking some Blu-rays, just maybe that'd be a better way to spend the rest of your day. But
my wife will get home from work and like, Ryan, what are you doing? I'm just cleaning the Blu-rays. Oh gosh.
And on that note, But no, it's been great chatting with you about the marathon, and as always, very grateful that you started the whole thing. It's just a really cool thing.
Well, I thank you very much for participating, because I don't think I would have I wouldn't have continued doing it if I didn't have the motivation from you and everybody else involved. But yeah, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a great rest of the day or evening or morning, whatever time it is where you're at. Just have a good one. Remember, there's 3 ways of doing things: the right way, the wrong way, and the chat way. See ya. End broadcast now. Oh.